Yeah. It's the Broke Ass Podcast.
We got money though.
It's me, your host, Zinni in the building. I got my co-host, co-producer. We got Jimmy in the building.
You can just call me Greatness.
And today we surrounded by some very special people to me. You know what I'm saying? We got my OG. We got DJ Bucho, a.k.a. Boozer, a.k.a. the real Genatus. He told me to say that. Ha! And we got the wife, the mother, the grandmother, the Arthur, the low-key activist. We got Miss Mika in the building. And we got we got Marcus in the building, who also has his podcast.
Hey, y'all.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's titled No More Closed Doors.
Okay.
Why you
No
naming
more
that?
locked doors.
So that's the title of my chapter in the book.
But, so why? What's the meaning behind that?
So basically we're opening doors to mental health, breaking generational curses, breaking all those stereotypes that we have in the world, basically.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah, just quick. But we here, man. This is actually my family, man. I love y'all. Y'all know that. You know what I'm saying? But we're here to talk about books and authors. Y'all are the first authors that we had on the show. This is Miss Mika's book. When you published this?
June of this year.
Okay. You got a book coming? We're going to talk about that later. Don't worry about it. This book is called Muted Molestation That Manifested Mentally.
Yes.
So can you just, we're going to get right to it and just explain why you wrote this book, who you wrote this book with.
Okay, so I thought about writing 4Ms for a while. I was a co-author in another book called Reclaiming My Life, and it gave me the courage to come out and do my own thing. I was looking for co-authors for the book, people that has been molested as children, you know, that want to tell their story. Molestation is something that we hide. We are muted from it. And it's a sensitive topic. A lot of people did not want to talk about it, so I felt like it was time to open up and speak about it. So I wanted to write the book.
Okay. And what did it take to get the book done? Like, what was the starting point? Did you put the pen to the paper and then take it to somebody, or like?
Well, the publisher from the first book that I was in, Reclaiming My Life, she is actually Whitney Brooks from Empower Her Publishing, LLC. She is our producer, our publisher, our editor. She did everything. All we had to do was write. We had to do our headshots and everything to her, and she did it all.
And you say you was in another book? So you wrote a book before this book?
Yes, I was a co-author in a book before that. And I also have another one coming out. Our virtual launch will be the 28th of this month, and our book launch itself will be November the 11th in Texas.
Okay.
So whenever I think of somebody writing a book, I think that it's like a long, strenuous process. What would you say about the process that you think people would be shocked to know that it wasn't as hard as you would think? Or what do you think will make it harder than what you actually think it would be?
Doubt would make it harder than what you think it would be. Doubting yourself, doubting the process. It took us 6 months to do that book. We had a timeline for everything. A certain date to turn in our manuscripts, a certain date to have in our headshots. We even did pre-sales before the book came out. And then we did a virtual launch on Facebook, where we did our #1 bestseller campaign for Amazon.
That's what's up. So you think that was because of the person you linked up with to help you publish it?
Yes.
And you say did all the editing and things like that for
Yes,
you?
our publisher did all that for us.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
That is dope. But, you know, DJ Bucho, I met you first. We've been, you know what I'm saying? We've been distant family, but what y'all are, you coming out with a book too, right?
Yeah.
So what's the name of your book?
Boozer's Journey. It's about usually people always ask me, you know, why I'm not the way I am.
So you're a DJ. So what you mean people ask me the way I am? Give the people a quick, like, how are you? Like, what does that mean?
You know how long it took me to come here. I'm not really a talker, so the book's really gonna tell it all, basically. So.
Okay.
So what it's telling you about? Telling us about your childhood and your upbringing and
it's
things of that nature.
I'm writing 3 books, and the first one is gonna be childhood, you know, Boozer's Journey. That's how I got the name and all that.
So tell us where you got your nickname from. Just, you know.
Yeah, come on. Give us one thing. This
I'm
the broke ass,
thinking
this the
like
broke ass
Boozer, like you was
podcast.
drinking 40 ounces back in the day or something
He
like that.
cannot drink at all. He
Oh,
can't
say that
drink.
won't it?
He can't drink, bro.
So you want a boozer like Boozer.
I think I was like a couple weeks old when I was in New York. And my mom and dad they went out and left me with my uncle. Ran out of milk, and he gave me some of his Miller High Life. And I slept for like 2 days.
They thought that was all right.
It took me, well, he didn't know better, apparently, because he was drunk at the 7. And so I went to the hospital. After I woke up, the doctor said, you got your little boozer. That's how that name.
So you call Boozer off trauma?
It was high life, you know. Probably a
The
little.
doctor did
It
it.
ran right
I
through
drink
him.
a lot. I would never give a baby no baby. That's
My
crazy.
doctor,
That,
yeah, my uncles, they different.
hey man, y'all go get the book. He's already uncomfortable talking about this. Let's talk about something great, bro. Like the first time. Matter of fact, let's talk about this. I got beef with you. Let me talk about that.
What's that?
I know we promoting the book and everything. We keep it clean. Got beef with you, right? Because today I was telling Jimmy.
Yeah, that's the first time you told me that.
That ain't. I've been telling everybody.
Yeah.
2004. 2004. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Hold up. Wrong sound effect. 2004. We bet Jersey. Kobe Bryant jersey versus a throwback Chauncey Billups jersey.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas. That was the bet.
It was a Mitchell and S jersey.
Your jersey cost way more than mine,
Yeah.
but my jersey was special to me. Okay, sir? So, you won, of course, anybody that know it, but you burnt my jersey up, like, right there in front of me. Did you put that in the book? Like, you need to put that in one of them. You burned up my coat. That was my first ever jersey I had.
It was a real jersey. It wasn't the
Nobody.
fake one.
That was messed up.
Nobody would do that if you wouldn't tell nobody.
I know, but I want to tell people right now.
He was
That's
telling
the
that story
beef.
for years.
That's the beef.
For years.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was. I didn't like Kobe like that back then, and so
I ain't gonna shoot
he
that.
was just so much of a Kobe fan. It was just something I had to do.
I just wanted you to let
He
know.
thought I was gonna wear that Kobe
He
jersey.
said he wore that jersey
He
to
said he
school every
thought I was
Friday.
doing
Yeah, I had to prove to him that jersey was nothing for me. I just wanted to show him
I never bought a Kobe jersey since then.
I wouldn't neither.
Hey man, alright.
Kobe to go.
Shut up.
I mean, I know you're older than me. My
You heard,
bad.
he,
My
you heard
bad.
he just told you.
Kobe is the GOAT.
He said
He
Kobe
didn't
the
mean to
GOAT,
press
bro.
that. He
Come
didn't
on,
mean to
Kobe
press
is the
that.
we
GOAT.
just
That's a
Kobe the GOAT.
mistake. He trigger happy. He was trigger happy.
Basketball, right?
Not the good.
Okay, anyway,
He told her to say that.
that's a
No.
fact. So, y'all are some of the people that I know have been together longer than me and my wife.
How long have y'all been together?
17 years.
I don't know.
So-
It's been a long time.
So, how y'all meet?
Nate told me to go to the racetrack with him. And yeah, it's in the book.
Where are you from?
Man, listen, you have to
I'm
sell
from
the book. You gotta
You're
get
from
something.
Whiteville? Are you from Garland or Harold?
He said he's from
I'm
Charlotte.
from Charlotte.
You're from Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Garland or Harold.
No.
They don't be like that.
That's
They don't
where,
be like to claim where they be from.
That's where I moved to.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
in Garland.
You ain't had no reception.
I mean,
You from one of them towns.
maybe like what?
I was
couple
in Garland
years.
about 2 years.
Yeah, a couple years.
And that was it?
And you
Okay.
gotta get out of Garland. If you don't get out of Garland, you won't get out of Garland.
Yeah.
So
And we just ain't gonna talk about.
I
the
got
shit.
out of Garland.
We
I know
ain't
a lot
talk
of
about
people from
whatever.
Whiteville.
Okay.
That's what's up. But
They all nice people.
so, what is the challenge, or is it a challenge, being that both of y'all are now writing your books, and it's pretty much like you been putting out your truth, but what is it like him? Because you can tell he ain't emotional at all right now. So, what is it like? What's the difference you can tell in him that he getting it out? Like,
It's a relief. It's a relief. You know, like you said, people question him. So why you don't talk? Why you don't do this? You know. So for him to write this book, it's a big step for him. Just getting it out there, because he's I'm not gonna say a private person, but he's a private person.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So it's a big step for him. I'm proud of him.
That's what's up.
so have you read any of the books, or do you think it'll be something in there that he put in there that you don't know? Because y'all been together.
I read it.
You read it?
Did you tell him, like, well, you should maybe add this, or
I did.
maybe you shouldn't say that?
I did.
Did you tell him to say more, or you told him to take more stuff
I
out?
told him to say more, you know, but it's his book.
Right.
So I can't tell him what I think. I can give him what I feel like he should do, but if he's putting it on paper the way he see fit, you know, I can't tell him to change it. I can just give him suggestions on what to do.
So you ain't tell him not to say something that he said something, maybe he said about you?
You told him to take
No.
something out the book?
No, I didn't
Like,
tell
nah,
him
leave it
anything
in
out.
there.
I told him to elaborate more.
I hadn't got to her yet in the book.
Or she booked number 2
Oh.
and
She book number 3.
3?
Oh, you saving it to the end.
Yeah, when everything
You don't
get
know,
right.
like, look, after the 2 books good, after the New York Times
Two
bestseller, we're
is
going to put the other
basically
one out.
the journey to get to where I am now to be able to be with her, because I wouldn't have been able to be with her before those other 2.
That's what's up.
You know me back then, I wouldn't have been able to.
Yeah.
It's a little different.
You said we had to be professional. We ain't talking about the past.
Yeah, that's what I said.
And,
I was different.
So, Marcus, I'm going to ask you the same question. Have you seen a difference in your parents, like living with Arthurs and everything like that? How old are you, first of all?
21.
21.
That's your parents? You didn't say that.
You think you just hear him?
No, I thought it was like a cousin or
Yeah, that's my
something.
parents. That's my
Yeah.
parents,
Y'all didn't say that the whole time we been chilling, y'all. I didn't think they were old enough to have a son your age. How old are you?
21.
Bro, they are older than you, both of them.
You said it like I'm old. I'm only 41. I'm old enough to have a 21-year-old. DJ is like 20.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and they older than you? Who's the oldest? You the oldest, right?
He's the oldest.
You the oldest? Okay.
Couple months.
Couple months. That's steady. That's steady. Let's keep it up. Yeah, I'm older than you. That's what you be saying. Respect your elders. You see the beard. You see the beard.
Right.
But
They've been married 17 years. He ain't saying stuff like that.
I know.
Yeah.
But can you see the difference, like, in your parents and, like, they're embarking on these journeys now and putting out books? What was it like before and after? Or
Yes, I can definitely see a difference. Knowing like both some of their stories, and then seeing where they used to be and then seeing where they are now while they're writing, and then the process of writing isn't easy, you know, being an author myself, so it was hard. So I know for them, you know, seeing them go through it, seeing them actually live it, I know what they're putting on paper is true, and I know that they're putting their heart into it. So most definitely, I've seen a big difference in both of them, yeah.
so y'all just a family of authors. So how many books you got?
This is my first one.
This is your first
This is
book?
my first one.
And what did you say the name of it was?
No More Closed Doors.
No More Closed Doors.
So, did you get the inspiration from your mama? Seem like when she came through with her writing, she inspired both of you guys to, you know, go ahead and put y'all thoughts on paper also.
Well, when she first mentioned the book, she was like, you know, I think you should be an author. And I was like, okay. So that's how I got, you know, the courage to do this, you know.
Right.
Because I had never told my story ever.
Right. And you still ain't telling us your story. Y'all want everybody to get the book. Y'all don't even give us one chapter of the book. Just say get the book. I respect that.
I'm getting a little inspired because I
I
always tell
am.
my
Oh, you want to write a
older
book?
sister. No, my older sister. I used to read her diaries. And like, it used to be so interesting because I was finding out things I didn't know about my sister. Like, I love my sister, like, you know, she's one of my best friends. But I was finding out things I didn't know about her, and it made me feel even closer to her.
Right.
But I couldn't tell her because I wasn't supposed to know.
Right. Right.
And even as an adult, when I stayed with her in college, I would look for her diaries, what I would call memoirs at this time.
Right.
And I would still read them. And I've always told her, like, she should tell her story because, you know what I'm saying, it's really interesting. I think that she can inspire a lot of people. And I feel like I'm going to get the info from you, from your editor, and pass it on to my sister. And maybe, you know, it could inspire her to get some of her feelings out on paper and maybe even publish. So, yeah, y'all been really inspirational to me. And it's not even from a point of me wanting to write and tell my story, but, you know, to try to reach out to other people and help them
I
through
feel
that
like
way.
everybody have a story to tell. Being that I told my first story, it was a challenge writing that book, but it was even tougher writing this one. Being molested as a child, when you have, you know, I work with children every day, and you see a lot of different things, and being able to speak out about it and open up. I've had so many parents to purchase a book, and they say, Miss Mika, you know, I realize it's time for me to do another sit down, even though I've spoken to my children about molestation, safe touching, unsafe touching, I feel like I still need to sit down again because you just never know, what's going on in your household or at a person's house that you feel safe leaving your child with, and then something happens.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't know. I never told my parents at all. Both of them are deceased now, but I never told anyone. I told Genatus before, but I never told anybody my story, especially the first story being molested by a child, so it's really hard.
I didn't even know, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have kids, but I'm really protective of my niece and nephews.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike is a father. His kids. He don't like his. I'm not gonna say he don't allow them to go anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
No,
but he really don't.
they don't go with a couple of people.
He keep them in
Like that
within
too,
eyes to reach or whatever.
But just for some of the people that don't know, like I said, we ain't gonna get into it as a sensitive topic. But if you can just give them some of the signs or something they need to look for, because some of these parents are young and they don't even think like that. Oh, they just want to be child free so they can go to the club or whatever.
And then you can't
willingly
say put it on the young person because some people are old and naive.
Right.
Yeah,
That part.
but like,
You
what
know
is some of the
putting trust
signs?
in the wrong people.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't mind telling some of my story. The thing is, I was I'm not going to say a foster home. My mom was in an abusive relationship. So we was living in Philadelphia at the time, and we went and stayed with the neighborhood auntie. She had other kids that she took in and took care of, and I was actually in a side room, like a closet, that she turned into a bedroom with a little girl. She was maybe 2 years older than me, and at night, I missed my mom, so, I would cry, and she would just, rub my back and say, it's going to be okay. And that back rubbing turned into her, touching my breast and stuff. And then one night I said, this don't feel right. And she said, it's okay, well, let me show you how to do it. When you do it, it makes your breast larger. Stuff that I'm thinking maybe at this age, I'm thinking maybe this happened to her before, and she's heard this before for her to come to me and say the same thing. But me as a child, that young, I didn't understand it then. She was a mean girl. She would hit me and pinch me if I didn't do what she wanted to do. And me being hit and pinched, that hurts. But then it correlated to my mom, me seeing my mom being hit. So, I would do it. It turned into her saying, it's okay for you to let a girl touch you. You can't let boys do it. You know what I'm saying? Parents are going to say, you a girl, you don't let no boys touch you, So me growing, with my kids coming up, I didn't let my kids go to people's house that I didn't know. And then some of the houses, people that I did know, I was still, I'm always there. So for my children, two of my children, to be molested from family members, that kind of, it hurt.
Right.
Because I'm thinking, I let them go somewhere where I thought that they were safe. But then, like I said, you have people that are naive, and they're thinking that they're safe too, and not knowing what's going on behind the closed doors.
Right.
So I tell parents, talk to your children about, gentle touching, safe spots, those zones that they should not be touched, even when you tickle. I never let my girl sit on a man's lap.
Never.
I don't like that.
Talk about Santa Claus.
Right, no, we're not doing that. We didn't go see Santa Claus. I'm Santa. Like I said, the tickling, that's one of the main things. You let people, even little girls, being touched by little girls, tickled by little girls, that touching goes from one area to the other. And a lot of kids, and I've spoken to other kids, they're laughing, and they're saying, stop, stop. But they're not saying stop because they're laughing. They're saying stop because you're doing something you ain't supposed to do. You're touching the spot that and they know that it's not right. Those are one of the main signs. When children start acting out sometimes, it's not because they're bad. It could be because they're being molested and they don't know how to come to a parent and tell. I've spoken to children where they've even said something to the parents, and then the parents don't believe them. Mom don't believe her boyfriend is touching you. But why would he do that? You're a child. We don't know. He's sick.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it
That's
happens.
crazy. But that becomes like a not to get too deep. The Broke Ass Podcast, we're not used to this. But not like to get too deep. It comes from parenting before that. You know what I'm saying? So you don't notice the signs. So this is really, really why I wanted you to be here. I knew he wasn't going to talk.
Right.
But like to literally you know what I'm saying? And I appreciate how you got there. And I just don't want to leave it, but I don't know.
We have to
It's
advocate.
really informative, and I'm grateful.
Yeah,
I'm gracious that you came through and
We ain't done yet though, but we ain't ending. But
I didn't say we was ending.
I just don't know how to
We end with
transition.
shout outs. Everybody say that. You go ahead, Marcus, talk something about
Yeah.
what,
Right, he got a podcast.
Yeah.
What's the podcast called?
The podcast is kind of based off of my chapter in the book. So my chapter in the book.
So you wrote a book or you got one chapter?
Yeah,
So I'm in this
mama
He's a
book.
co-author in the book.
I'm a co-author in this book.
Oh, okay.
So I was also sexually assaulted as a kid. So, and the
Nah,
wild
go
thing
ahead.
is, when my mom says that she didn't let us go anywhere, she didn't let us go anywhere. So my first sleepover, I was 4 or 5, and I was at a trusted family member's house, and that was the first time I was ever groomed by another one of my male cousins, and then from the ages of 4 until 16, I was sexually assaulted by 2 male cousins. So the one that started then, and then another one, and so I didn't really realize that is what was happening, because at 4 years old, that's kind of brain altering. I got another guy touching on me. I don't know what's going on, and so
You don't know what's real, what's
So
not.
you
what to
continue
do.
with the same person from 4 to 16?
yes.
So how do
Oh,
you
that's
podcast
crazy.
about that though?
So the podcast basically, because I went through a lot of mental health issues, and still go through a lot of mental health battles. So, being sexually assaulted, because I didn't realize it until I was 18. I was only 21. So that's only 3 years of really
Right.
being aware of what really happened to me. So it's still a lot of reliving the same thing over and over again just to get through that trauma. So the podcast is about how I get through, my daily battles, whether it's getting up in the morning and having trauma, being nauseous, that kind of thing, going through depression, having anxiety.
So it's still having an effect on you. So using
Yes.
the pilot as
Yes.
like a way to get it out
Mhm.
and to spread awareness. Bro.
Right.
That's really dope, bro.
Yeah.
That's really dope. That's really dope. Right. I love y'all. I swear I do. Y'all making me sad now.
Don't be sad.
It's not, man. I like y'all getting this story out here because it's preventative medicine.
Very much so.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't usually get this serious,
Right.
but I knew it was.
They don't talk about it enough. That's
Yeah.
why.
And by y'all sharing y'all story, y'all, opening the door for other people to share theirs too. So, what I'm saying? I can applaud you for that. Because a lot of people too scared to tell it because they're ashamed of, the backlash. But, it really shouldn't be no backlash because, what I'm saying, it's a relief.
It is a release. And one thing, I took a class, and a cop actually did the class about molestation. And he told the story where this little girl went to school, and she kept telling her teacher for 5 days straight, my daddy ate my cookies last night. And the teacher laughed it off, thinking, okay, daddy ate your cookies last night. So that Friday, the little girl came in, and she's screaming and she's crying. She said, my daddy ate my cookies last night. And the teacher kind of said, what kind of cookies are you talking about? The dad was molesting her, and she's trying to tell the teacher all week. So I taught my kids, their body parts by name. Who's touching, this and that. I know we can't, say it, but this mom taught her little girl that her vagina was her cookies.
Right.
So nobody would have correlated that, she's telling the teacher already, my daddy ate my cookies last night. She's not even thinking about that. So like you said, it's the way that children are raised and brought up different things. I teach my kids, and even at school when we teach about sexual abuse, you teach the body parts. That's what they know. These little the pocketbook and all that other stuff. I hear little girls say, "Well, my grandma said don't let nobody put nothing in your pocketbook." No, we ain't doing that.
Just tell them what it is.
Tell them what it is. You know what
But
it
yeah,
is.
you're an educator. You do all this stuff. And things slip through the cracks all the time. And just because your own child yourself was, molested.
Definitely.
Not molestation, was molested. Like,
Definitely.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's one more story I want to tell before we end about Miss Mika. I ain't gonna argue with you. You on the time limit. I'm gonna catch you next time, big dog. All right. Go Lakers. No, go 49ers. My bad. Go Niners, bro. But it's something dope that I seen. You used to have long hair, everything beautiful, no disrespect, had long hair and everything. And you put on Facebook Live that one of your friends had cancer and you cut your hair with her to make her. What made you do that? Like, that's a different type of woman right there.
Well, the thing is, women's hair is their pride. And I wanted to let her know she was beautiful regardless if she was bald or not, inside and out. And whenever I did it, it was exhilarating. We cried. There was not a dry eye in the house. There, even the men. I mean, it was just so emotional. You know. Yeah.
Look, unball your fist, man. It's all right, bro. It's all right.
It was so emotional, and I actually did it twice. I did it twice for her.
And now you got these little curls.
Now
That's
I
what I'm
got my
talking
curls.
about.
It's trying to grow back out. Yeah.
Well,
You are not your hair.
That's right. You are not.
all right. Do y'all have anything else y'all want to say before we end the pod by giving shout outs?
Well, I just want to shout out to my editor, publisher, Whitney Brooks at Empower Her
You
LLC.
said Brooks or Books?
Brooks.
Okay.
Whitney Brooks. I can give you that information at the end. We also have a podcast called Reclaiming My Life. We are on WBSL every Monday at 12. We are on SM Enlightenment Radio every Sunday at 8 p.m. We are also on PraiseByGrace.net every Saturday at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m.
We would never let nobody plug all of that. Just like you just did. Just 5 of them? Okay. Hey, yo, y'all can catch us on CS. No, let me
I thought,
stop.
like, yeah, give out.
Damn, already.
Wait till the end.
Get some shout outs, OG.
DOC, it's my clothing line.
Hey, definition of cool.
Definition of cool.
It's trademark. Don't try to steal it.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's
you
right.
can't.
You ain't bring no merch?
That's right.
Oh yeah, you know I got
Yep.
something.
Yep.
I just didn't bring it in.
Is it free giveaways or we got to pay for it?
I got something.
I was just asking. We got money though.
Oh yeah.
Give Mr. Beaker, she writing all the checks.
Speak for yourself.
Well, Mr. Beaker here, she writing checks. She got money orders.
Inside
Y'all
joke.
take back money orders.
Inside joke. Yo, stop it. Definition of cool, man.
DOC.
What you got to say, Marcus?
So follow my podcast.
Hey.
You can find it on YouTube. Up under my name, Marcus Solomon.
Marcus up what?
Solomon like in the Bible.
So spell it.
SOLOMON.
All right.
You can also find it on Facebook up under Marcus Devon Solomon. You can follow my Instagram. It is the letter D with a period, EVON, and 3 E's afterwards.
Oh, you definitely one of them new age podcasts.
You
Look
got
at this.
Black Twitter?
Hey, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Yo.
Look for me on
I
Black
need to start
Twitter.
doing that, bro.
You did.
Nah, I'm going to check you out, definitely, bro.
And I also shout out my other co-authors.
You can do whatever you want to
Okay,
do.
so I have 3 other co-authors in our book, which is 4 M's, Rooted Molestation and Manifested Mentally. And that is Charmaine Birch, Ursula Jones, and Claudia Massey.
I like to just give all of y'all a shout out for coming through.
Thank you.
Shout out for opening up doors for people to talk about molestation and not to be scared of it because, you know, it happens to a lot more people than you know.
Yes.
Shout out to Mike for bringing y'all through just to open the door on our bag, you know, letting the people know that we talk about more than just popular trends, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, our bag is deeper, we going in it. That's pretty much it for me.
Oh, you can also purchase my book at Marcus-Solomon. So MARCUS-Solomon SOLOMON.com.
Yeah, can you put all of that in it?
You can also purchase mine on 4msbook.com.
Yeah, we getting some free merch out of all this
I was
advertising.
about to say, they is plugging it up. Look, we charge 30. Hey, look, you want advertising? Listen, we reach 30,000 people. We on 5, 6, 7, 8 different platforms. Amazon, Fire Stick, CSP Radio, Monday,
Roku.
Wednesday, and Friday. Roku, YouTube, iTunes, all of them. We on everything. Just Google 810 Studio Broadcast Podcast. You can get some of this advertising. We gonna boost you up a little bit.
We ain't playing
Yes.
with you.
Yes.
But, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Bucho, man. You my guy, bro. Every time I call you for my birthday, you be down here.
Yeah, he been DJing. He
Flip
been
it
at all
over,
the
man.
parties.
Thank you, Miss
You're
Mika.
welcome.
If y'all know Mike family, they love to have a party.
Jimmy, man, pull it up. Hey, man, we on the off day. And shout out Mr. Mika, our producer. And shout out our other producer, Hood Rock, the best producer in the world.
You already know, best therapist too.
This is an off day, man. Y'all got us here on the off day for a very special reason. So we appreciate y'all. We're going to end this with some hand claps. We out!
Cheer.